This episode of Play the Bay is brought to you by Believe in BetOnline.ag. The month of June is heating up with a ton of exciting sports action, and BetOnline is where you can find it. From basketball and hockey playoffs to baseball's marquee matchups, including prop bets and features, BetOnline has the latest odds, news, and information for all your online sports betting needs. Visit the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So before the next tip-off, face-off, or pitch, head on over to BetOnline and start playing today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. And now, play the Bay.
From Channelside Drive, where Lord Stanley Cup rests.
Time ticks down! The Lightning win the Stanley Cup!
Travel across the bridge to St. Pete to find our American League champs.
And the Tampa Bay Rays have just won the American League pennant.
And get ready to fire the cannons.
Lob pass toward the end zone. Gronkowski, he makes the catch. Touchdown Tampa Bay. What a great grab by Gronk.
Because it's time for another episode of Play the Bay. Play the Bay.
Welcome back to Play the Bay, presented by Believe Podcast Network and Three Daughters Brewing. Guys, the Tampa Bay Lightning are like 3 games away from going back-to-back.
I'm glad that you brought that up because
we weren't going to talk about it at all.
No. Hearing the intro to the show, it's like, hey, if they win it again, we don't have to change the intro to the show. We can just keep it the way it is. You know?
Don't we already, though? Because I was thinking about this last time, and the Buccaneers, we obviously made the intro prior to the Super Bowl. So now we'll have to, but we can wait like a couple weeks and then get a new intro once we know what's going on.
Very true.
So
very true.
I like the Kaylee calculation there. Let's go ahead and burn a timeout for a couple weeks.
I mean, we've lasted this long. Like, it's been how many months since the Super Bowl?
A hot minute.
6, 7, 6 or
No.
7, 5? 5.
4 and 5 almost, yeah.
March, April, May, June. Yeah, almost 5.
I didn't know that question would spark so much controversy, but yes.
Yeah. It is.
Yes.
Today was a rough day.
I want to hear, okay, you didn't explain the tornado story. You just brought up a tornado, and I'm like, I'm also deathly afraid of tornadoes, and I was like, wait, he's just not going to tell us the story, because you said you were outrunning a tornado, were your words.
Well, I mean, let's face it, I'm not outrunning anything, but today I was sitting in my office kind of relaxing, and I went in the living room to have the TV on, and I was trying to waste 5 minutes, before a meeting or before something else. And all of a sudden my TV goes, the emergency broadcasting system noise, which is so loud and just ear piercing. Mm-hmm. It goes off and it's like tornado warning, get to the lowest level of your house. And I'm like, great. What about the people that lives in shanties and apartments, condos, townhomes? There's no low level. I'm in the 3rd floor. So I'm like, great. So the sky is like green. Winds are blowing everywhere. My deck and patio, there's like a tree and palm fronds like trying to get through the glass door. And I'm like, where do I go? I'm on the 3rd floor. So, of course, what do? I stop and call Evan. And I'm like, Evan, I don't know. There's a tornado coming in my sliding glass door and the alarms going off in the background with the emergency broadcast system. So I grab my little box of passport, checkbooks and important documents, and I run out.
You run out of the apartment?
I run out of the apartment down the steps, and I'm like, I'm going to go into my clubhouse / gym, which is on the lowest level, and there's an interior room like a bathroom. So I'm running out. It's windy. There's rain everywhere. I'm getting soaked. My little cigar box of important documents is getting soaked.
This
I'm
is
just
Twister.
like,
this is literally
Yeah.
Twister.
it's
Why
running and just me getting to a safe spot. Now, thank God nothing happened. But
I told him, I was like, he called me like 3 times in an hour. I was like, dude, just go into your bathroom and get into like a tub or something, man.
Yeah,
He's
a
like,
tub with like some
Yeah.
pillows, mattress, whatever.
guys, I'm the 3rd floor. I'm the same height
That's-
as trees.
and that's the
I mean, it's-
excuse I kept getting was I'm on the 3rd floor. I'm on the floor. Well, I'm like, then go to the clubhouse. If you go
That's
to the
what I did.
clubhouse,
Well, he did that.
yeah.
and well, I thought he was going to come over to my house first. I was like, well, you don't want to get on the road because if it's a tornado, then
Well, I
my-
decided against that thought. That was accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, I would
So-
be too scared to run outside. I think that's have you ever experienced a tornado?
Yeah, no.
Because I've experienced one.
Yes.
It's very terrifying. And it's one experience of my whole life, but it shaped every fear I've ever had from then on. So for about 20 years now, I've been deathly afraid of tornadoes. So I would be too scared to even step outside of my house. Like if anything sounds like the wind's whistling too hard or like I hear a loud train-like sound in the distance, I'm on high alert and I do not want to be anywhere near it. So kudos for running out into the open air.
I'm on high alert. If
I
I hear
am.
a twister or a train coming down Main Street, buddy, I am peepers open. Checking
I'm
it all out.
like, I my roommate knows as soon as the wind blows too hard, she closes the blind. She's trying to mitigate the panic inside.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Well,
Hey.
Chip, I'm glad you don't have an animal because mine wanted to go outside during the storm to go play and frolic and do all kinds of stuff. I'm like, you're an a-hole right now. Why would you want to go outside
They
Exactly.
only want to go outside when it's raining.
when it's raining? And I was like, dude, no.
I see his
there's no
little
way.
tail. That's so cute.
Yeah, he's being a pain in the butt right now. So
It's okay. He's allowed.
yeah. Anyways,
He's a heckin' good boy. 10 out of 10.
being an emotional wreck right now.
I feel like every dog's a good dog. There's no bad dogs.
He's a good boy. He's just being like an emotional ball of. There he goes.
Aw.
Yeah.
Look at him.
It's like a Montreal Canadian fan last night.
All right. All right, Chip, we're starting with lightning today. So I know you're pumped about that.
I mean, how can you not be pumped? Evan and I got a chance to right before he went to go take care of his dog. We got a chance to get out to one of the local bars and hang out and watch the game, which obviously was close the first couple periods, and then after that, the Lightning opened up a nice, massive lead and ended up winning 5-1. So I was telling Evan at the beginning of the game, I was hoping that the Lightning would come out with some stride. I know that obviously getting extended out to Game 7, having some injuries, not knowing how Kucherov was going to be coming out of the Game 7, it was good to see that he was full speed and any issues or any problems. So yeah, the Canadians made some mistakes late, which cost them dearly. And what I loved is Cooper's. One of the final power plays of the evening? We had 5 forwards out there, so pulled defensemen and wanted to make a statement, in the first game. So kudos to that, and yeah, what a great outcome.
What did you love about it, Evan?
I loved everything about it because it just showed how experience is going to trump 95, 90, 99% of the time when it comes to being in a Stanley Cup final. We saw that last night, especially when, everybody thought Kucherov was hurt and Kuch scores 2 goals, had an assist here and there. And then, Chip, I love you. Chip kept saying, a third period going to be cast. They looked like they turned it up in the third period. And it was almost like misdirection that the Lightning did to Montreal was, hey, we're going to come out. We look kind of sluggish because maybe we only had a couple days rest from, a Game 7 against the Islanders, which I think watching the Game 7 against the Islanders, they looked sloppy against New York.
Yeah.
They were skating sloppy. They were passing sloppy. And it looked a little bit like that in the first and second period. But then when the third period rose about, it was like, it's game time. Now we're going to surprise you. We're going to be like the Trojan horse and come at you. And that's what they did. And, I honestly think, and I don't want to jinx anything, but I would say I'll give the Canadians one. I'll give them one. I'll
Okay.
give them one. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, we might sweep." I'll give them one.
Yeah.
So, but if Tampa Bay plays consistently like they did last night, there could be another boat party in the Bay, man. There could be another one, and it's gonna be glorious. It'll be glorious. Talk about Florida man. Like all these guys will be Florida man on the jet skis and everything like that too. It'll be fun, man. And Vasilevsky, just the big cat, was just doing his thing last night. It looked like an overall complete game from the Lightning. And the Lightning are heavily favored in this series. No doubt about it. You've got a young Canadian young Montreal team that's, they were trying to keep up last night, but they were just getting mauled by everybody. I mean, remember that shot Coleman did to who was it last night, Chip, where he just ripped off his helmet and said, "Just get out of my face." Last night,
yeah. I think the game overall was was the most physical game one I had really ever seen, as far as blow to blow and everybody mixing it up.
Yeah. Hedman was just bitch slapping everybody. Like, come on, get out of my face. You're too small. It was a good. That's a good exclamation point to start off a series like 5-1. That's how you roll, and that's how we start off, especially at home too. When the crowd's in it as well, it's electric in there. That's how you start off the Stanley Cup Finals is by beating the team 5-1 at home. So
yeah, we got to see what happened to Killorn. He didn't. I don't think he skated in the third. I almost said fourth because football's so close.
Yeah,
smell it.
And we're going to be talking about football later on in the show.
I know. So yeah,
wow.
Check Killorn. Make sure that he's okay. But like you said, Kucherov looked fantastic. Hope the momentum stays fresh. Ready for game 2 tomorrow, 8 o'clock.
A team that's $18 million over the cap space, by the way. Which I find
very true.
It's very funny.
Ouch. All right. Well, do we want to talk about, I guess, predictions for game 2? I mean, we've seen Montreal come back from, deficits in series before, so it's not like they're incapable, but they definitely didn't look as efficient, as awake, as I guess physical as they have been throughout the playoffs. So are we at all worried that maybe they turn it around? We've seen the Lightning kind of look really good one game, look not so great the next. Are we at all worried, or are we thinking it's going to be a relatively easy series?
I'm worried.
I'm always the optimistic person where do I think it's going to be a smooth sailing series?
Are you going to say optimistic or pessimistic?
Wait.
You
always the optimistic person. I was like,
I
was like, no.
I'm not good with words.
No.
I'm not going to say it's going to be smooth sailing. I won't say it's going to be a sweep. I will say Montreal is going to give them a fight to earn the cup. That's what I'll say. I will say they will come out in game 2 and they will look different, because I'm sure they will look at tape and say, okay, this is how we're going to try and beat this team. And they're going to probably try and come out and be physical and be fast and be more. They might take one. That's all I'm going to say. They'll take one, not game 2. I say they'll take one and up in Montreal when they go up there for game 3, probably.
I think you're going to see the biggest haymaker out of this series from Montreal tomorrow night. That's what I think. I think that after this, the longer this series goes for me, it'll be interesting to make sure that Tampa can carry momentum. We've seen intermediate, so they get really revved up for one game, and then consistency is the issue. So take tomorrow night's game, put it in the victory column, and then move forward from there. But I think we'll see the best effort from Montreal tomorrow night.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree on that.
All right. Anything else you want to hit on the Lightning?
No.
Okay. All right. Let's talk Tampa Bay Rays. So last week we were down in the dumps. Now we're back up. This is, I think, the life of covering the Rays in any sort of way. But they were starting to get back into their groove. Although, Sunday night was not ideal. They lost against the Angels at the Trop. Shohei Ohtani. So let's talk about that.
If you're a pitcher, don't even pitch to him. Like, just
Right.
you can take first base. Like any team, Rays, anybody that's playing the Angels, because all they have right now is Ohtani. Because Trout's out, Upton's out, but the guy is a physical freak, and the guy is just crushing the ball. And if you're a pitcher, I don't even know why. If managers see him coming up with, just pitch around him, like intentional walk him. I don't care, because the dude's just. I mean, he made the Rays pay all throughout that series. Now, obviously, the Rays took 2 out of the 3, but the dude was just crushing the ball. Like, if you're a major league, pitcher, I would beat him just to get on, just to hit him, just to make him go on base. I wouldn't even pitch to him, unless, obviously, if you can't have any foreign stuff on your hands, it's going to make a difference too. So, it's, if I was a pitcher, I wouldn't throw to him. Hell no.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think, Chip?
Well, I mean, he's definitely a one-man wrecking crew. He's got 26 home runs, so I mean, he's definitely he's making pitchers hurt, when they throw to him. So, but yeah, if you can get through the lineup, and I don't know, you're mid-season. We're coming to the All-Star break. I mean, I'm not giving a guy a pass right now. I'm not sold on that yet. So
he's the front runner for the MVP.
I mean, great. We still got a half a season left.
Okay.
I mean, I want the trophy at the end of the year. We don't give out trophies in freaking the All-Star game, dude.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you give mid-season awards. Come on.
No, I mean, if we were doing that, I would get the award for closest to Rays being 10 games over 500 and being correct about their record. I wouldn't be the guy that said they wouldn't be anywhere close to that. So,
okay.
No mid-season awards here on this show. No, we go all the way to the end.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Evan, were you at the game?
I went on. I didn't go. No, I didn't go. Wait, what game did I go to? I went
weeks ago, man.
Yeah, it was weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't. No, wait. I went. I went to the Boston series when Franco made his debut, but I didn't go for the Angel series. I didn't go for that one. I tried to, but just wasn't happening.
Franco, how's that kid doing, dude? What's his story the past couple of months?
He got a hit the other night. He got a hit the other night.
We love that for him.
Yeah.
I love a hit. Stop it. He got one.
It's a transition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin Cash says he's going to be okay. He's been hitting the ball well. Eventually, they will fall in there. One did.
Look, it's an adjustment period, okay?
Yes.
All right?
Hey,
look.
I totally agree. You guys say that I'm drinking the haterade on him. I'm not.
He's got a hit tonight. He's 1 for 2 tonight.
I love it. I love when he gets a hit.
We love it. We love to see it. We love to see it.
Wander Franco hit watch, according to Chip. Listen, he'll turn it up. I mean, he'll turn and burn.
I love it. He, like I said, this first season up here, he's going to get more fastballs. He's going to have a chance, man. Get out there and tee it up, dude. Dude, hit 300, hit 400. Dude, be the guy who showed up in a Rolls Royce on his first game. And I mean, walk the walk and talk the talk.
His defense is great. His defense is great so far. Yeah, I will say that.
Yes, very much so. Very versatile. He can play everywhere. So
he should have showed up to the Trop in a moped instead of a Rolls Royce. I think that was just a little bit too flashy.
A moped?
A moped. Just
That's
to be.
So
I mean, I don't know if it was
yeah, like a Vespa. Have the Vespa helmet on and be trendy like all the St. Petersburg people up there. Riding around and on the electric scooters, like scoot up
on a little bird scooter. Yeah.
Yeah. If he scooted up to that, that's saying, "Hey, I'm a man of the people," instead of a Rolls Royce.
Okay.
Okay.
You wouldn't worry that potentially he could get injured or hit by a car on the scooter?
No. Because you have to be, you have to have, that vision.
Right.
With your periffs. Yeah.
Periffs.
Yeah, your periffs. Yeah, your peripheral vision.
Look, I'm here for the Rolls Royce.
What if no
one is going to hype you up but yourself? You got to be your own hype man, okay? That's what I've learned in life.
What if the scooter was diamond encrusted though?
Okay, now we're talking. We're in the game. Let's go.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. If it was okay, the diamond encrusted.
You're not finding that on the street though. You're not finding that on the streets of St. Petersburg.
Well, obviously not, but I'm sure if he had one customized where it was diamond encrusted, it'd be okay. Then he goes into the tunnel and says, "Hey, this is my diamond encrusted scooter. Take care."
And he's in a full like Givenchy jumpsuit.
Are we
with,
even
like,
talking about Wander Franco anymore? Is this Michael
Yes,
Jackson?
we are.
Okay, I don't know.
No. We're talking about
Okay.
Wander Franco and
We are.
what he could have done differently for his entrance. Into
Look,
the
if
Trop,
he
for sure.
wants a brand manager for his entries into game days, I'm here. Call me because
There
I
you
got
go.
it.
Okay,
I got it. I have a lot of great ideas in my head. They just don't have anywhere to go.
just not diamond encrusted electric scooters.
That's
No.
correct.
Because that's mine.
correct.
Yeah, that's totally mine.
Right. Do we want to talk about we brought up MLB's substance policy inspections. Do we want to talk about that? Because a lot is going on with that, obviously.
I mean, so we know the players hate it.
Yeah.
I think everybody hates it.
Yeah, we know that the MLB overreacts with certain policies, and they seem to can't find middle ground. So they either go to one extreme or the other. So I mean, I don't think the MLB is ever going to find middle ground on anything. They're just going to keep swinging very extreme from one end to the other, and then when they're either going to find people that completely, wreck the rules, or you're going to find people who get annoyed like Max Scherzer and like other players who constantly get checked because their stuff is so good.
That's
they're breaking
crazy.
stuff, which it is.
Yeah, that's annoying because it's like, no, I think they said he was inspected twice, and then obviously he gets called out of like, oh, he's playing too well, inspect him again. That's just a wild, like, again, if you're gonna do something, let's have some sort of protocol, some sort of process that we follow. Let's not just go out and do whatever we want, because now you are probably going to miss people that are breaking the policy, and then you're gonna over inspect people who aren't. It's just that is a crazy situation. Like,
talk about slowing the game down even more. Like, and they were worried about the game being slow. Now you have to stop in the middle of the game to check a pitcher, probably like a 5-10 minute checks, maybe more than that. And now sometimes you're doing it multiple times during that. Like the Nationals Phillies game where Joe Girardi had to check him three times. It becomes comical. And Scherzer had every right to stare down Girardi. Like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, 3 times. And at the second time, they didn't find anything. Now you're saying a third time I have to be checked. Rob Manfred has to look at this at the end of the season and go, okay, maybe this shouldn't even been done in the first place, because now you're doing this in the middle of the game. They threw out a pitcher, I think a couple days ago already for this, and they didn't even say what it was. They said there was something underneath a part of his glove that he kept itching about it, but they haven't said what it was. They threw him out. He got suspended for a couple of games. The Scherzer incident, I think there's a pitcher in Oakland that got checked a couple times too, and like Scherzer was like basically about to get nude on the field because he was getting checked so many times. I just, it just seems to me that MLB goes two steps forward, and then all of a sudden Rob Manfred says, you know what? Yeah, screw it. I'm going to go 5,000 feet back with making the game an even more of a headache to people than it already is, because they already think it's too slow. We should move the mounds back. We're juicing the balls. It's like, just leave it alone. Like, let the pitchers have, right now they're just using rosin and I think a little bit of water, and that's it. They were putting on the spider grip and everything, which helps them grip the ball better. You're increasing the risk of injuries too when you're not letting them use the spider grip. Yeah.
Well, I think that was the whole situation with Max Scherzer, was saying that it ended up being sweat and rosin.
Right.
It's essentially what they came up to. And he was like open about that and saying, yeah, that's what I was trying to do to get a grip, because that's technically not illegal under the policy.
Right.
To mix them or whatever. So, but the Hector Santiago situation apparently was not that. I guess that's what he said it was, but apparently it was like noticeably sticky, and there was just a lot. It was a lot, and I don't know if they ever.
And then Trevor Bauer got checked, I think, twice last night, and Angel Hernandez, who has a already horrible reputation as a major league umpire, was basically hand massaging him the other night. And Bauer at his press conference goes, look, why don't you effing, check with Angel Hernandez what was on my hands, because obviously there was nothing at all. So it's becoming just so comical with what MLB does each and every season about making the game even worse than what people already perceived it to be.
They don't
You know what I
want new fans. Like,
No, they
it's
don't.
just clear that they don't at this point. And again, like, let's save policy changes for winter meetings and let's all agree and talk to players and managers and organizations. But every step they take forward, they take 4 steps back when it comes to making the game more modern, making it faster, making it more appealing, getting new fans, expanding the viewership. Like they just, it's like they do not want to last very long.
Right.
And I don't get it.
I think Manfred just comes in drunk every single day and goes, "Okay, we're gonna make this game stupid, and now we're gonna put policy in
Could be, dude.
with
Could be.
I check substances, and then okay, let's do it." I
He's
think that's what happened.
Coach Steve from Big Mouth. If you guys seen Big Mouth, that's who
I
it reminds me
have
of.
seen Big Mouth. It's a very, very funny show.
I need to watch it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
10,
raunchy.
10 out of 10 recommend.
Yeah, very,
All
very
right,
raunchy.
good. I'm in.
But before we move on to our next segment, have you guys had any kind of great steaks lately?
No.
You haven't.
No, I cook great steaks, but I
Oh.
have not had them anywhere.
Well,
You know,
let me make a recommendation for you.
please do.
By a company called Moink. Moink's meat is so delicious. I love it, and you will too. Join the Moink movement today. Go to moinkbox.com/believe, BLEAV right now. And listeners to the show get free bacon for a year with every box ordered. That's 1 year of the best bacon you'll ever taste for a limited time. Spelled MOINK box.com/believe. That's moinkbox.com/believe. Go to Moink and get your free bacon for a year. That's free bacon. That's where you don't have to go to the store and get bacon. You have free
Bacon!
bacon. Exactly.
Love that. All right. So we're talking football. We're starting with LeBron. LeBron James. Tom Brady on
The show.
LeBron
You
James.
better not bring basketball on this show.
No. We're not.
No. But it's
Don't
his show, technically. But yeah, so he made a lot of comments, but I'm assuming we're going to start with the one about a team that did not want him.
Yes.
Is where I would assume we're going with this one.
Which I think everybody's still in speculation about which team it is.
Yes. So he said, looking back, I'm thinking there's no effing way I would have gone to that team. They said they didn't want me. I know what that means. I know what that feels like. And I'm going to F you up because of that. So it also goes on to include the quote about them sticking with their quarterback.
You can stick with that mother ever?
Yeah, yep. So what team are we thinking this is about? There's a lot of debate on this, actually. I was kind of surprised that there was debate on this, but there is, apparently. So
It's confirmed today that it's not Chicago.
correct.
There have been talks San Francisco and Las Vegas are the two that he was maybe referring to, which could be possible.
Okay.
I don't know.
Chip, any speculation?
I prefer not to speculate, just due to the fact that, you know, Tom Brady, who I mean, I do care a little bit, but I don't care enough to speculate.
That's
So
fair.
whoever it was, you know, you passed on the GOAT, you know, great decision for your franchise. Hum-do-dum. Your franchise is probably in the tank anyways. So
It is kind of like, so I thought it was the 49ers as well. I think that makes the most sense. But I also saw the Rams with Jared Goff at the time, which I think makes a ton of sense because Tom Brady does or did have a house in LA, spent a lot of time in LA. I think I think when you look at what he wanted out of this trade and out of his next destination was a team that was close enough to win a Super Bowl, like had enough pieces to get there, somewhere where he could sway the front office and have decision-making power, and then somewhere that is a destination that he would want to retire or be able to go out and have nice weather and a very different setting from New England. So I think when you look at LA, that makes sense, right? Like he was probably really interested in LA. We know what kind of team they have had there. And I do think that that's another team like Tampa, where if he comes in, exerts his power, who doesn't want to be in LA? You're going to get guys coming out there pretty easily. And then they already have a lot of pieces in place. So it is kind of funny if it was Goff, because now Goff is gone and we have no idea how that experiment's going to turn out. But if it doesn't go perfectly, it's like jokes on them. But I don't really understand what he meant by, like, he was like, I know what that feels like to have no one want me. And it's like, what? How?
You know what that is, dude? That gives me Jimmy G vibes. That gives me San Francisco 49ers vibes.
Can he maybe refer to like when he was picked out of the draft?
In 2000? I mean, come on. Like, but for 21 years, you were like the guy, basically, right? So
he also could have been talking about the last couple of years he was in New England, because remember all the rumors where, okay, Jimmy G's probably going to take over, and then Tom's maybe going to get traded or go somewhere else. So he could have been referencing that as well.
True.
You know,
That's possible.
Apparently, one of the teams he was close to signing to was the Saints.
I saw that. I also saw the Colts and the Titans, which the Colts, I guess, makes sense in terms of they ended up with Phillip Rivers, but the Titans are interesting as well. A lot of teams, I guess, that I didn't expect, or I didn't pay close enough attention to leading up to the Bucs signing him, because obviously I think once the Bucs were in the conversation seriously, everything moved pretty quickly. So I don't think a lot of people were speculating about it in the weeks leading up, but I do think that I guess I just wasn't paying enough attention because there were some interesting teams in the mix, it seems.
I think too, because maybe no one expected the Bucs to land him. You know what I mean? Because the Bucs were so, they had Winston, and the Bucs have really never made a huge splash in free agency, like a splash like that. So for them to land Brady kind of just almost mystified that team. Like what are the Bucs doing down there? Like what? How did they lure him down there? But I mean, look at
no state tax.
Yeah, what lured him down there?
Wide receivers.
Exactly. So it made sense, and I think he said that on the shop. Like it made sense, all along. Like, hey, I'm going to come down here instead of going somewhere else. So
right.
And his kids play sports down here.
That's true as well. And he's friends with Derek Jeter, who rented out his house to him. So, I thought the shop was really cool. Watching Brady say, "Hey, I pretty much have to say, I have to watch what I say 90% of the time because I can't say what I want to say." He's like, and for him to say, "I want to be able to do what Beast Mode does," I'm just here so I don't get fined. He's like, "I want to be able to do that one of these days." And he's saying, I think he says, like, my last year, I just want to do that just to try it out. So I mean, he knows it's coming to an end anyways, which is good.
Yeah, I think it is like, it's pretty crazy how you look back on his time in New England and how much he was censored and kind of held down and diminished in a way that I don't think a lot of people, well, I guess they never really made public, right? And like he never really said anything about it or indicated that he had any sort of pulse of a personality before leaving New England. So it is kind of insane that like all signs and everything he's saying really point to him being kind of just held back so much in terms of what he could say, how he could act, what he could do. And so it is interesting, but I do think it did make sense. And I liked that episode actually. And he talked a lot about, he was talking about injuries as well. And he was also talking about mental health, and he talked about the Naomi Osaka thing, which I thought was pretty interesting, and actually liked his take on it. Cause for some reason, I just didn't think that he would have like a good take on mental health for athletes. I don't know why. That was probably just an unfair assumption, but
how dare you assume that about Tom Brady?
We've already talked about, Kaylee, his mental health. You were just talking about it in New England, how he was held back and how he was probably, forced to be a certain way. And let's be honest, this was a guy who was the face of the NFL in the midst of scandals, Deflategate, improper camera practices and team, information. And this was a guy that had to stand up and, probably said some things that he regrets, or maybe even said some things that weren't 100% true, or, who knows what's locked behind the doors and, in the middle of the ears.
It'll be
Sir Tom Brady. But at the end of his career, I bet a book gets released and it's a tell all.
100%.
Aren't they doing a 30 for 30 kind of like they did the Last Dance for the New England Patriots?
Did we lose everybody?
Aren't they doing that? I think.
I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, we might get an inside look of how maybe how that team was working with him there, and the uncensoredness of how the Last Dance was with the New England Patriots. Hopefully, we get that kind of access.
Yeah, and I think too it's interesting because we talked about how he took pay cuts and he wasn't ever like the highest paid. They weren't doing a lot to keep him there besides really guaranteeing him at least a pretty good shot at a Super Bowl and multiple Super Bowls over his time there. But
Yeah.
I will be interested to see what he says about it if he does talk about it, which I think from what we've seen over the past year and a half, it's pretty certain that he will open up and talk about it just because I think he's been pretty open so far. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I didn't think we need Chelsea Handler in that episode.
She was terrible. She yelled the whole time.
I've become not a fan of her recently.
Why would you
really
even
recently
to begin with?
Okay, I never was.
She yelled the whole time and really didn't fit into what the narrative of the whole episode was supposed to be. I thought she was just out of place there.
Yeah, super strange. So recently I never really liked her, but recently she was going on one of my favorite podcasts and they were talking about the topics ahead of time and I was like, oh, I'm pumped. Like if she really talks about this and in the way that they're saying, this is going to be great. She gets on the podcast, talks through it with them. It's a great podcast. And then she goes on her podcast and like talks crap about those girls that host the podcast. And I was like, okay, so I'm not a fan of her to begin with, but I do think that they usually do a good job of like supporting outside of sports guests to come in and provide unique perspectives. I think that was a huge miss. So
I have a kind of a little bit more respect for Draymond Green after watching that.
100%.
Like 100%. After getting his like perspective about how he is and how the media kind of portrays him, and it's like, okay, I have a little bit more respect of him now after watching that because I always thought he was kind of a clown, but
yeah,
he's just trying to be me, and like if you don't like it, I don't care. I don't give a rat's ass or whatever. So
yeah, I agree.
Good episode.
I liked it. That whole show is pretty great, honestly. Yeah. I never want to like it because I don't like LeBron James that much. Sorry.
You're telling me you're not going to watch
Space
Jam, the New Legacy when it comes out?
I will. I think because it's cultural and it's a remake of a classic, I definitely want to see it. There's other people in it as well that I'm interested in seeing, so I will watch it. There's something about his face I don't love. I don't love. We've really seen LeBron James, like peak LeBron James this season, personality wise, because they ended up in the play-in tournament and then suddenly it's like whoever made this should be fired, even though 2 years ago he's like, we need to have a play-in tournament, and it's like, it's you, bro. It's you that needs to be fired. Like you brought this up. And then he's talking about injuries and how like the NBA screwed them over, but it's like if his team went to the finals and won the NBA championship, none of this would ever come up. And I do appreciate advocating on behalf of other athletes, but I find that it's only advocating when it benefits himself. So I'm not a huge fan. Also, his face, there's something I don't like about it.
I think Chip is so not a fan. We just lost him on the.
We lost him.
He just said, you know what? They're talking about basketball.
He said they're talking about basketball. Bye.
Just screw it. So, well, let's transition over to our early bird special of wide receivers for 2021. I'm excited about that.
I'm excited. This was a hard one. Do you think? I thought it was harder than I thought it was going to be.
It's not hard for me. I think there's a few guys on there that were top wide receivers last year that will probably not be top wide receivers this year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and top wide receivers that it hinges on other factors.
Things. Yes, exactly. Like case in point, like Devontae Adams.
Okay, because he's my number one.
I have number one too. Clear number one. But now
if Aaron Rodgers is not there, there's no way he can be number one.
No, because you're not going to trust everything to Jordan Love. And it just makes the value of Devontae Adams just plummet if Aaron Rodgers isn't there. Like, I wouldn't even say top 15 for Davante Adams as a top.
All the way to top 50. See, I would say he stays top like 8, 7 or 8.
I don't know, because I would say the Packers would start to run more because they don't have the full buy-in into Jordan Love if he starts. Because right now, Aaron Rodgers is just living his best life. Chip, don't worry, we're talking about football now. Don't worry.
There we go. You guys got me?
Yeah, we got you. We're talking about football now. Don't worry. We thought you left the show because we started talking about LeBron James and the NBA.
Well, no. I kept freezing and had some bad audio, but I think I fixed it.
It's the tornado.
So
it was.
We're on the wide receivers, the best ones, early bird special. We're saying, there's a lot of the top wide receivers that were top last year, but will probably not be in the top conversation because of certain things. And we started off with Davante Adams because it's all really hinders on if Aaron Rodgers is coming back. So, I say, the Packers, if Jordan Love is under center, they're going to be probably more run heavy, and Davante Adams might be maybe top 15, maybe out of the top 15 when it comes to wide receiving because they don't have Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, drop him out. I think another guy that's going to fall by the wayside is Adam Thielen, who fell by the wayside really kind of more last year just because of Jefferson's emergence, but also Rudolph is gone, and we're going to see our boy Irv Smith Jr., tight end from Minnesota, coming up from Alabama, who's going to take some targets. So I think that might be another big guy that might fall by the wayside. But my best pair of wide receivers, and you guys are going to love this. You're going to love it. I'm sticking with my man, JJ. Give me Julio Jones and give me AJ.
Okay.
Tandems.
See, I was about to ask you that. Do you consider Julio still a top wide receiver now, even though he's going over to – but in that top echelon of wide receivers, even though he's in
the top 15 best wide receivers in the NFL.
Okay.
I'm going to put them –
Brown being in the top 10.
Yeah, I think if you're going tandems, I would put them in the top 3 tandems of this season, I think. I just think that they've had – obviously, I hate to say this, it pains me, but they've had a lot of pieces in place, and this just feels like one of those areas that they can really solidify now. And I don't know, I really like AJ Brown. I like what he's been able to do there and how they've used him. So I think if they can get this tandem right and get the balance right between these two guys, I would be not excited to see what they do, but I would be interested to see what they do.
Okay.
But so who's the top who's your top if Davante Adams is if Aaron Rodgers is out of Green Bay this year, not playing, who's your top number 1 wide receiver in the league?
This will be kind of a disagreeable. I will say my pick, Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
I think sheerly based on targets and volume, I think that might change because of the acquisition of Emmanuel Sanders.
Right.
But I mean, definitely, you can definitely make a strong point for that. I think that's a strong point.
I wanted to say D-Hop, but
I mean, it's tough to judge because if you're looking at teams, you're going to see teams that are going to get way ahead. Like the Buccaneers are going to score a lot of points and they're going to get way ahead, so they're probably going to coast maybe a little bit more. I think so. I think that they'll have Evans is still going to have good stats. They're going to spread the ball around. I think Justin Jefferson is really going to take off. Like even though he had a great year last year, but I mean, I really see him kind of going head and shoulders above everybody else in Minnesota target-wise. I don't know. It's kind of tough to tell right now.
Yeah.
But Davante Adams, though, is still – I mean, if Aaron Rodgers shows back up, he's kind of the guy that will continue to get fed in Green Bay.
Right.
Besides Davante's stock right now, if Aaron Rodgers does show up, obviously he's probably the clear-cut number 1. Yeah. Is there any wide receivers that you guys think that their stock is plummeting kind of right now in the off season going into the regular season?
Yeah, Thielen is mine.
I know it.
I
Okay,
think
besides Thielen.
I don't want to say plummeting, but I do think someone who I love and is going to struggle a bit might be DK Metcalf. And I say that because I think there's a lot of unrest going on. And I don't want to put it, I feel like there is. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I just don't feel like it ever settled down really. And I feel like the things that they've really kind of been asking for haven't necessarily been answered as well as they could have been. Their draft was definitely underwhelming. But I do think that I like him a lot. He's got obviously freak athletic ability. He's huge. He's never been like the top guy on really anything. I guess he is top 10 in a lot of stats, but he just doesn't feel like a top guy, but he often is right up there with the pack. But for some reason, I see them as a team falling off. So I kind of see him falling off. And I think there's a lot of talent in that division alone, but then across the NFC as well. So it is just kind of like, I can't see him getting there, honestly.
I thought all was well with Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. I thought they kissed and made up. Like
I feel like on the surface.
So could be
but
some.
But they're a little they're a little weird.
It's like that divorced couple that has to look like they're still married. But they're actually like they hate each other's guts almost.
Okay. Yeah, it's like they kiss and outside of their house they go in and they close the door and then they don't talk for 14 hours.
I guess. So it's like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith thing where they want to kill each other.
Right.
Stuff. Okay.
I think receivers. I think the Rams are going to be a team to watch just because Stafford. You have a new quarterback and you have great receivers. Cup in Woods. They did lose Everett, who did go to Seattle and who might take targets. From a Metcalf. So, I think they might be a team to watch of change and whatnot. But I don't know. I don't think of any other wide receivers really that are going to drop that much.
Michael Thomas.
Okay, that's a good one.
You're changing his quarterback, though. You're changing the person that throws it to him.
But I'm just saying. But I don't. It's stock that's gonna plummet to me. I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna have a good year. I mean, Jameis. Opposing teams are gonna have more receptions and touchdowns than the actual Saints receivers facing the Saints.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So I would say Michael Thomas has always been one of those top 5 wide receivers, but since the change, we don't even know who's gonna be the starting quarterback for that team, anyways, because they're still saying it might be Taysom or it might be Jameis. Yeah. So if you're thinking Michael Thomas
could fall off the precipice of hope, that team could be 3 wins next year.
I'm glad. As much as Cam Jordan talks, as much as Cam Jordan talks smack about, we're still going to be better than the Bucs. It's like you're in delusional land there, buddy.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to see who they name quarterback.
I love this talk because it makes me want to get jacked up and play fantasy football right away, even though we're into July. I know
we're not there yet.
We're not there yet, but still, it makes me happy. Because I actually did fantasy football. I did a fantasy football draft a mock draft the other night with a bunch of guys on Twitter, and it was like, and we did it at like midnight, and I was tired, and I think we got into like the 5th or 6th round. I was like, I got to put this on auto draft because I can't stay up anymore. And
it's fantastic, but don't fret just yet. We still
I'm not.
I want to go off page a little bit, just a smidgen here. This is more shot to Kaylee, obviously, because she has a show coming up that just centers around football, so she's probably gonna have inside scoop maybe on both of us here at Al Bushman. But one of the most intriguing free agents or guys that I see left is Le'Veon Bell, and I'm starting to think about teams who need like a running back. And I mean, off the bat, imagine putting Lev Bell with the Falcons and having Mike Davis be your thumper and kind of retool your offense that way. What do you guys think about that?
I just don't think any team needs Le'Veon Bell, right? Like, I think that's where the difference is between like a nice to have and a need. I just think there's some free agents that fall and their stock falls and it's unexplainable, but that's pretty rare. And I think a lot of people in this league know him, have interacted with him on some level. There's definitely a reason he's still out there, and we can all speculate as to what that is, but I just don't think that any team needs him. Like, I could see if he lands somewhere for cheap and he's willing to take a cheap contract and get in right before the season, cool. And maybe they use him, here and there, and I think that would be all fine and well, but I can't imagine that anyone picks him up, utilizes him each week, and
unless injury happens, maybe.
I could see him maybe signing with Miami for cheap.
I could see that.
You know what I mean?
I could see that.
Why wouldn't you go to the Bills?
Do they want him?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously they need a running back, but I don't think they want him at all. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I figured I kind of older running backs, totally agree. He's got a little bit of a tude problem. I can understand that. Still versatile, can still do things, but just one of those guys still out there in free agency, I think that could maybe crack a roster.
Well, I look, Chip, I also look at this too as the running back position is not valued like it used to be.
Correct.
So if you're he's what, 31? He's
29.
So he's almost to his 30. So basically he's an old man, when it comes to NFL age. So if I'm a team where I've got a 29-year-old running back who, after he left Pittsburgh, hasn't done really anything since. Obviously, he was on a really crappy team on the Jets. Wasn't really utilized well in Kansas City. He has an attitude problem. Why would I go after him where I can get, I probably signed a guy in the draft who is an up-and-coming running back, or I can get like a cheaper or a younger free agent running back where he's not going to give me any problems. He's not going to try and command a lot of money. I think after him leaving Pittsburgh just ruined his career and just destroyed it because of his attitude, him wanting more money, and just him holding out and coming out and really, bashing Andy Reid, who it's Andy Reid, man. You don't come out and say those types of things where he's like the only player that said any kind of negative, statements about Andy Reid ever in the league. So so if he goes anywhere, he's going to sign for cheap, and it'll probably be Miami or something like that.
Yeah. We'll see. Just intriguing to me. Want to see where he would land.
Yeah. Is there anyone else that's still unclaimed?
Todd Gurley, right?
I mean, there's still.
Wow.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of good ones. Todd Gurley obviously is another one who, I mean, if you're telling me I can have Lev Bell and Gurley, I might actually take Lev Bell. Just because of Gurley and the Falcons paid him $8 million and change to really do nothing. So yeah,
there was a funny picture that was circulating on Twitter the other day where it was that scene out of Forrest Gump where Forrest and Lieutenant Dan are on the pier. Yeah, and Harbaugh's looking at it was with the Ravens. And Harbaugh's looking at Todd Gurley's like, it's like, but Todd Gurley, you ain't got no legs. He's just looking at him. So it's like, I got no legs. You did well, Lieutenant Dan. Yeah, you ain't got no legs. Yeah, it's so funny.
Poor guy.
I mean, how far I wouldn't say fallen, but like his career trajectory is just he was set at the peak running back in the league, and now he's just like he'll be jobless probably in a year or two.
That's crazy.
I mean, this is a guy who had multiple knee surgeries. Enough scar tissue and enough fake ligaments to put in his body to look like a freaking stringed up doll with marks and stitches all over him. So
listen, Todd, what we're gonna have to do is get some super glue, some silly putty, and some tape, and just have had it at your knees. That's all we got for you.
Yeah, wrap them in styrofoam. So. But we'll see. Who knows? He might have a year or two left, and there are other teams clinging on to the bottom of the barrel, like Detroit or somebody like that, who might give him an opportunity. And, who knows? We'll see.
And that's all I got to say about that.
You want to close out with something positive and fun?
Yes, of course. Yes, positive and fun.
Give me for your respective teams. Give me the player that excites you the most this year? Just one. And Evan, for God's sake, don't say Tom Brady, please.
I'm not going to say Tom Brady.
All right.
Jeez.
But like the one guy where you're like, I cannot wait to see that guy play this year.
I'm going to go ahead and say my name is going to be Kyle Pitts. And I made $8 million, and I'm the most expensive weapon in my Falcons team. I'm Pitts, Kyle Pitts.
Kaylee, you can say Tim Tebow. You can say Tim Tebow. It's all right.
All right, I'd rather die. I'm gonna go LaVisca Chenault. Really liked him last year. I'm glad that they've embraced him as part of this offense this year. He's fun to watch, so I'm excited to see him.
So you guys, both of you went offense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go defense. Devin White. Devin White. He was a monster this past year. He's really kind of taken that leadership role on the defense, and now everybody's back. I can't wait to see what him and the rest of the wrecking crew have up in store for this season against their opponents. So, and Devin White's and he's got horses, man. He rides a horse.
He is so cool.
I know. He rides a horse. I mean, you can't hate on a guy that rides a horse, for God's sakes.
He did a victory lap around Raymond James. I was so impressed by that. I used to be a horse girl when I was a kid, and I also rode, and so I was very impressed by that little tidbit of knowledge.
Devin White is my pick. Yeah, I can't wait, man.
Awesome.
What about Antonio Winfield Jr.?
I could have said him too, but Devin White, man. Devin White all the way. Or Scotty, or Scooter, Scotty Miller, man. If they utilize him more, we'll see.
The forgotten Scooter with flat tires.
Yeah. If Antonio Brown loses it again, I mean, Scotty's got more reps coming his way. We'll see.
I mean, aren't we all hoping? Like, no offense to Buccaneers fans. I'm so tired of this guy. It just seems like we all know he's like not great. Like we know he's not a great person, and we just sit here and we just have to keep like, but he, he's past all that, and it's like, I don't know.
I know we wanted to close out on a positive note, but we do have some breaking news right now that just came through.
No.
Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer, who we were just talking about not too long ago, has been accused of assault.
Assault,
yes.
Of who?
Of an unnamed LA woman. She is accusing him of battery. It just came through.
Oh my goodness. Look. Okay. Do you see what you're causing, Major League Baseball? You're getting them all worked up. I'm just kidding. That's actually, I'm literally joking.
It was all because of spider tracks. That's what it was.
That is unfortunate. I guess we will watch as that unfolds.
I wonder if his agent will drop him because his agent is a woman as well.
That'll be a great sign. We'll probably know whether he's guilty or innocent before he even does, because if she drops it, I'm sure. Don't you sometimes feel like in those situations, based on things the agents say, or just, I guess maybe like endorsement brands or other people around the specific athlete or celebrity, if they make like rash decisions that seem kind of for no reason, you can kind of be sure that they know something we don't, right?
Yeah.
Like they know that this isn't good news. They know that it's not going to turn out that well, and they're getting out.
So we'll see. We'll see how this develops. So
Rays update. Unfortunately, playing the Nationals this evening, down 4-0, bottom of the third.
Yeah, Kyle Schwarber hit another dinger in the first inning.
Okay, all right. All this bad news, really.
And a Shohei Ohtani goes yard again.
Well, I was looking at video as I was watching. I think it was like Sports Illustrated, and they were like, they should like market around this guy because he's got such an international presence and he's fun to watch. And then they were like, you can call Major League Baseball the show. I was like, that's so cute. That's adorable. I would tune in.
That's so lame.
Just be careful. Don't show hey, you're Ohtani.
It's like dad jokes flying around.
Love it. All right. On that note, thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at PlayTheBayTB. Subscribe to our YouTube and on Apple and Spotify. Rate, review, subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And we will catch you guys next Tuesday. Bye.
Presented by betonline.ag.
That too.
Word.
Go Bulls.
Thanks for listening to Play the Bay. We'll be back again with another episode on the Believe Podcasting Network. If interested in advertising, please contact Believe.com.